So we have an outstanding lineup. We have balance in the program. We have people who will talk to you about the benefits of medicines, people who will talk to you about the benefits of lifestyle. And we wanted to begin this program today with a mesmerizing, with a transformational story. And I think nobody is better at doing that than Dr. Ramon Issa. He comes all the way from California. He's a physician. I think listening to his story 2 years back, I said, this is what makes my work worthwhile. So rather than say more about him, I want him to come up here on the stage and just basically enlighten you with what he has to say.
Thank you, Cindy. Is this working? Am I on? All right. So my name is Ramon Issa, and I'm a medical doctor practicing emergency medicine. And you ask, I know the first question is, why the heck do they have a doctor up here talking to me about nutrition? I know, I said the same thing. Can't they find an engineer that maybe knows a little bit of something that can teach us? But bear with me. Give me some of your time, some of your attention. I went through a lot of life experiences after having my formal medical training in medical school. And I went to residency in family medicine and primary care, which is, I don't know if you know this about residency, but I learned this later on in life. Residency is where medical doctors go to take symptoms of lifestyle and diet-related diseases and turn them into chronic disease, and then find a prescription and a surgery that is the least harmful so that we both feel better about ourselves. Okay? It's these little enlightenments and these little pearls. I want to share with you why, like Dr. Ali said, it's an honor and a privilege to be up here today, honestly, because in my heart of hearts, what I've learned and what I've gone through, and the reason why I have a testimony, and yes, I do have a testimony, and having a testimony is an amazing thing. It's getting one that sucks. I don't want any more testimonies. I've got enough character, it's built, I'm good, okay? But I hope my story and sharing my personal experience and my struggles and my pain and what I went through, both personally and professionally, I hope this inspires you. And who's you? Somebody out there like myself 2.5 years ago who was morbidly obese, severely insulin resistant, eating out of control. I felt miserable, felt like there was no hope, and I'm stuck, and I'm trapped, and I'm confused. And I don't know where to turn it and where to look. I'm a medical doctor, and that didn't protect me from getting wrapped up in this epidemic, okay? And if there's a doctor out there that's seeing patients like I was in primary care, and they are being frustrated, and you're getting burned out, why? Why did I go into emergency medicine? Because the problems I'm supposed to help, I couldn't help. Obesity and insulin resistance and the blood sugars, they kept getting worse. It's very frustrating. So I want to inspire the doctor out there that's frustrated and spark a desire and a new energy in their practice to enjoy what they're doing, and the patient that feels like there's no hope and I can't be helped. So here's my story. I was born healthy. I grew up healthy. I was an athlete. I had no problems with obesity or insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome or any of these things, okay? I was actually a varsity basketball player in volleyball. I started medical school at 6'3", 225 pounds, feeling great, on top of the world. I got married 4 years later after medical school. I put on about 20 pounds, not a big deal. I thought I was filling out, you know, that's natural. I go on to residency, get my training in primary care. Midway through residency, my life, my sleep, my eating, everything gets out of whack, a lot of stress. I balloon up to 285, somewhere around there, but I said, hey, that's okay. They've taught me what to do. It's calories as a calorie in, calorie out. You eat less, you move more. Let's do it. So I spent the next 4 months, the most miserable months of my life, starving myself, restricting my food, and eating little bits, and taking every ounce of energy for 4 continuous months, and then exercising my brains out every day. And I couldn't wait for this to be over. Long story short, I did lose about 60 pounds, and I thought, finally, I can stop doing this, so I can go back to eating and living the way I was. And then, guess what happened? I'm so smart, I had to become obese twice to figure this out. So 10 years later, I had 5 kids, so you gain weight with it. Each kid is what we were taught in medical school. So not only did I regain my weight with each kid, I went up past 285, and I went up to 308. At least that's where I stopped checking. And I stopped checking because I didn't know what to do with the stupid number. So I was like, why am I going to keep stepping on the scale, okay? But then things started happening this time around with the obesity. It was different, okay? My hunger was out of control. My eating was out of control. My appetite was out of control. I couldn't get a handle on it. My joints hurt, my ankle hurt, my knees hurt just from walking around. I couldn't get up in the morning. I couldn't understand. It took me 2 hours to wake up. I was snoring all night, right? All these things were happening. Well, a couple of things happened in my life that were kind of cumulative effects that got me thinking. And I thought, what is going on here? I don't get it. I was never like this before. This is new to me. I could hardly get my socks on. I'd have to hold my breath to put my socks on, to put my shoes on. And I'm like, I'm going to have to start having my kids to put my clothes on in the morning if this doesn't get under control. Next time I go to work, I was medical director. I wear my suits, big shot. I go into my closet, and my suits are tight. I'm like, my wife's taking them to the wrong dry cleaners. They're getting small. So I look at my wife, and I'm like, wife, I need some new suits, looks like. And she's like, or maybe you don't. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? That's kind of offensive, maybe you don't. I said, well, maybe next time you ask me if your dress makes you look fat, I'm going to say, no, your butt does. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's hot. I love my wife. She's right here. Everybody give her a round of applause. Thank you. That's a joke. That's a joke. I love it. I wanted to say that so bad. Okay. It's a bit, but that's insulin resistance talking. It'll get you into trouble. You got to fix it. It's not good for your marriage to have insulin resistance. You say stupid crap like that. Okay. I go for a walk. We're Christmas caroling. I'm walking around, fa la 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 la, and my foot, I feel like I broke my foot. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm just walking. So I go to where I work, and I want to get an X-ray. I think I broke my foot, and my nurse triages it, and her face, eyes get like saucers. She looks and turns the machine at me. She says, Dr. Issa, your blood pressure. And I was like, what blood pressure? It's 185 over 115. And I was like, yeah, you know, that's normal when you break your foot. Of course it's not. But I said, that's fake. I'm going to check when everybody's gone and I'm relaxed and it's going to be normal. I check, no one's there. It's 100, it's still high. So I can't even walk. I sprained my foot. My blood pressure's through the roof. I can't put my clothes on. My suits don't fit. What the heck's going on? I said, that's fine. My dad passes away. What does he pass away of? Stroke, heart attack, cancer, okay? I watch him. We moved to California to take care of my dad because he had a stroke, okay? I didn't know what I know now. Back then, I wish I did, okay? And I saw my life flash in front of my eyes when I watched my dad's life go. I had the beginnings of what he had the disease from. I had this metabolic syndrome. I had obesity. I had insulin resistance, fatty liver, right? And then he had the diabetes and then the heart disease and the stroke and the heart attacks and the disability. I took care of him for 4.5 years in home. And then he passed away. And I was 41 years old, and I said, there's no way that where I'm at my age, my dad wasn't this sick at his age, I'm not going to live another 36 years. I don't want to be a burden on my wife, on my kids. I don't want to do this to them. It was very painful for me to do it as an adult. So I said, okay, here we go. I'm going to kick it in gear. Calories in, calories out. A calorie is a calorie. Lollipop, lentils, and lamb chops. Your body doesn't know any different. Let's just eat. Let's just start doing stuff. I'm going to eat less starting tomorrow. So I wake up. Okay, remember, I don't know any of this stuff that I'm talking to you about today. And I have my Lucky Charms cereal. It's whole healthy grain. I don't know. And I'm only going to have a half a bowl of my cereal this morning. And I start, box is gone. I'm like, what just happened? I said, okay, that's fine. Next meal, next opportunity, I'm eating less. So then I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to have half the lunch. Well, before lunch, there's meetings, and there's donuts and pastries and bagels. And I'm like, well, normally I'll have a couple. I'm going to have one. I can't just have one pastry. Boom. Then I take all the pastries. I can't stop eating. And I said, what is going on? It wasn't like this before. Why am I so obese? I've got so much fat on my body. How can I be this hungry when I have this much fat on my body? I don't get it. So I said, fine, I know my other trick. This is the other tool in my shed that I was taught. I'm going to start moving more. Eat less didn't work. I can't stop eating. I'm going to move more, okay? So then I go to the gym. I start exercising. I got a gym membership. It comes with the job. I'm jumping around on treadmills and on exercise machines and doing all these rowing things and looking silly, and I feel like my ligaments are going to explode. My ankle's going to give out, and I'm going to see the patient that I see in the ER who's January, and the doctor says, you need to move more, and they come in and now they have trochanteric bursitis, or they have a meniscus tear, or a Jones fracture and they broke their foot. And I'm like, this is a terrible idea for me to be exercising and jumping around when I'm this obese. I can't even walk. I sprained my foot walking, Christmas carol. I'm supposed to jump around. and exercise and lose weight this way. So I got very frustrated because secondarily, after I'd exercised, I was hungrier than I was before I started. And now I want to eat more, and I shouldn't. And I'm like, I'm trying to eat less. I don't like exercise, it's dangerous. And then now I'm going to eat more. This is really defeating the purpose. So I did the math quick, and I said, well, if I don't break my foot, and if I don't eat too much after I exercise to lose weight, I said, what's the calorie burn, this calorie burn? And I did. Prescription drugs, maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm deficient in statins or blood pressure medicine. I don't know, maybe I wasn't before, and then now all of a sudden I'm deficient in a prescription drug from a big company. And I said, no, 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 no. And my wife's like, you're sick, go to the doctor. It's like, no, that's me, I know what I'm gonna say. I don't do that anymore because I'm going to go see me and they're going to say, oh, that's hypertension. We call that, you have high blood pressure. We call that hypertension. And here's the medicine. And then they take it for the rest of their life and nobody stops taking it. And they have heartburn because they're taking ibuprofen because their knees hurt and their legs hurt. And then they have GERD. Now I'm on a Zantac and Pepcid. I'm taking Motrin every day because my joints hurt. And I'm supposed to take a blood pressure medicine. And I'm going to say no to the doctor. So I'll skip that whole part. I'm going to say I'm tired. I'm fatigued in the morning when I wake up. I'm snoring all night. My doctor's going to be smart and he's going to say, Ramon, let's do a sleep study. And then I find out the sleep study and then I'll have sleep apnea. And then he's going to say, wear that machine. And I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to wear it. So I went through this whole process. I did this for a living. I'm like, no, I know what happens. It doesn't help. It's not the problem. I said, well, I qualify for gastric bypass surgery. My BMI was 40. I'm 100 pounds overweight. I got all these conditions related to my obesity. And I said, maybe surgery is the answer. And well, I work in the emergency room. I only see when surgeries go wrong. I only see the adverse outcomes. And I didn't want any part of that. And the other thing was, I said, if surgery was the answer to my problems, then I think maybe I had a rearrangement of my internal organs without my knowledge, and now I'm obese. Or I'm insulin resistant, and they need to surgically correct it. Or I said, did I wake up in my bathtub with bloody water and a note that says you have 6 hours to get to the hospital? You have no liver and pancreas? No, I said, I have all my organs. Everything is there. Nothing got moved around. Surgery can help, and there is a place for it. But I don't think I'm ready for that yet. So luckily, I paid attention one day in medical school. I was like, can the body burn fat for fuel? And I thought, no, no, it's not possible. That's ridiculous. I said, no, no, it can. I remember. It said in lecture biochemistry, I remember in my book, in Lippincott, it says, the body can burn fat as a primary fuel, but only once the carbohydrate and the glycogen stores have run out. And I was like, where's the carbs coming from? And I didn't know any of this stuff. And I said, well, how much glycogen do I have in my body? How long is this going to take? And I said, fine. I got frustrated. I give up, okay? And I believe in miracles, and I was mad at God. And I said, why did you design a body that's this overweight, that is this sick, that is hungry all the time, and I can't stop eating, and I can't move, and I'm stuck? I give up. There's no hope. But then I said, okay, fine then. I'm this sick. I'll do anything. My dad passed away. I was focused. I had a call to action. I said, I'm not going to put anything in this mouth until I figure out my body is burning its own fat for fuel, and I figure out where those carbohydrates are coming from in my food. So I didn't know any of this stuff, okay? So, well, that fast forward, I'm so genius, it took me 4 days to figure out what to put in my mouth and when my body was burning fat for fuel. But here's the process, which was magical process. I didn't know starving yourself in a row on purpose for healing purposes was called fasting. That would have been so much nicer. I thought I was starving. I thought nobody in the world ever went 3 hours without eating before. I hadn't had breakfast in over 10 years because you're supposed to go 12 hours from your last meal to have breakfast. So I'm like, I haven't eaten breakfast in 10 years because I'll eat at midnight and wake up at 6 and have food. It's not breakfast. But the first few days, my body was withdrawing. I say with carbohydrate withdrawals. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I was withdrawing from medicine. My body was like, feed me, feed me. I said, no, you're going to use fat for fuel. No. The second day, miserable actually, because I'm still hungry. It wants to be fed like it has been forever, every 3 hours. And I'm telling my body, no, I know you can do it. It says right there in my books, you can use fat for fuel. Do it. And it's like, no. But it wasn't burning fat for fuel second, third day. So what happens? And my wife's like, are you going to eat? I said, I don't know. Not today. She goes, when are you going to eat? I don't know. It's not right yet. So while I'm waiting for my body to burn fat for fuel, and I don't know when that's going to happen because I didn't know any of this stuff, I'm researching where my pesky carbohydrates were coming from in my food. That's how simple it was. And I said, okay, Do I have to, how long can I go without eating? Well, how long can I go without eating fat, protein, carb? Fat, ooh, there's essential fats. You must keep eating them. Protein, all protein is essential. Yikes, I better keep eating those. Carbohydrates, I remember they said the essential carbohydrates. And I looked in my book and I literally opened it up. And there's an asterisk next to essential carbohydrates. And I was like, why is there an asterisk? The bottom of the page says, and I don't know why I didn't get this. The glucose is essential, but it's not essential to be eaten. If you don't eat it, your body will make it. I said, that's it, we're done. We're not eating carbohydrates until I like the fat that I'm wearing, okay? So that's what I did. And when did I notice that my body was burning fat? I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't have a guide like you guys are going to have with the lecturers today, and Megan Ramos, and people that help people guide them easily, and they call it fasting, so it's a beautiful experience, okay? But on the 4th day, how did I know I was burning fat? Because I was getting up and getting dressed, going to a meeting, putting my stuff on, and I had a little pep in my step, and I was whistling, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this is really interesting. It's like, I've got this energy, and that's funny because I haven't eaten in 4 days. All of a sudden, I got energy, and I feel great, and I said, where's this coming from? Oh my goodness, I'm burning fat for fuel, and I got lots of fat. I'm good. I can go for months. And I told my wife, I'm eating today. So what did I do? Long story short, I did that 3.5-day fast. I felt great. I knew my body was burning fat for fuel. That hunger, that out of control feeling, the cravings, the appetite, it was magically gone. What else happened? I basically had natural gastric bypass. My stomach shrunk when I went to go eat. I could hardly eat, just a little, just ever so gently. I had a 5-gallon stomach before. Now it was nice and manageable size. I could put food in, I felt good. And I was eating fat and protein and all the nutrition, and it was wonderful. And I just ate once a day until I liked the fat that I have, and I was very happy with it. And guess what happened to the blood pressure and the joint pain and the heartburn and all that stuff and the snoring and the miserableness? Yes, if you treat the underlying root cause and begin looking at your conditions as symptoms of something deeper, that's when I got better. That's what I'm saying should be an engineer up here, because until I put my engineer hat and I did root cause analysis, right, and first principles of truth, that's when the doctor got better. That's when the patient got better. So my takeaway, what did I learn? So I learned that no matter where you are, like Dr. Amonette said, no matter where you are, here's the lesson. This is powerful. This is what I learned. It was beautiful because since I didn't know that these are things, right, that I didn't do anything, people ask me afterwards, they're like, wow, first they thought I was crazy. Then they're like, it's not true. It's not working. It's all water. I'm like, 94 pounds in 100 days of water? Maybe the first week or so is water, but come on, it's been months. I've lost 94 pounds in 100 days. I said, but once you realize that I didn't know to do anything, and I ate once a day, one meal, 15 minutes. Okay, there's 24 hours in a day. It's not what I did, it's not what I ate, it's what I didn't do. For 99.4% of my time, I wasn't doing anything. I was just living and going to work and doing my thing. And my body was doing what it was designed to do. You have inside of you the answer and the solution already to help reverse your conditions or improve your conditions and your problems. These are wounds, obesity and diabetes and metabolic syndrome and fatty liver, insulin. Your body is waiting for you to get the information, the inspiration, to bust the myths, the false things about having to eat all the time, you see? To get a plan, a guide that can help you make a plan for you, because we're all in a different location. And then you'll have success, okay? The way I look at it, I followed, the reason why I stayed focused on it, I did it until I was done, is because number one, I assessed the situation. It's number one, I have this condition. It's a condition of too much fat and energy, okay? Number two, if I had obesity and type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome or fatty liver, I would be all about the business of getting there. As an ER doc, I call that being in the emergency room of health. It is my job to get out of the emergency room of health. If you have any one of those 4 things, my hair's on fire. You need to get out. Next, I wanted to prove to myself that I could maintain. It's been 2 years since I lost 94 pounds. I didn't magically gain it back this time, you see? Why? Because I focused on maintaining my weight and my health when I was done. And then number 4 is then I focused on exercise and physical and a strong foundation, not for weight loss, for health and for a long, healthy life to protect, spraining your foot when you're Christmas caroling or what have you. right? And then the final thing, step 5, which is the order. See, once you have an order and an attack plan, you feel, okay, there's no confusion, there's focus. I can put all my energy on this last. Now you can focus on longevity. My friends they meant well, but they said, Ramon, I'm obese, I'm insulin resistant, I feel like crap, okay? My miserable life. Like, you should eat these magical berries from this land across the pond. They'll prevent cancer and you'll live forever. It's like, and I told him this. I was like, I don't want to live forever right now. This sucks, okay? I'm in pain. This hurts. And I'm not going to live long enough to get cancer to worry about. I need to stop having these conditions. So, but if you have an attack plan, it gave me permission to say, I'm going to worry about that, but not right now. I'm going to focus on this, and then this, and then this. So is there a formula to success? I reviewed what I did and what happened to me, and then I've talked with other people that I've helped and coached and guided along the way that have also had success. And I literally write this down. I have this formula in my head. There's a formula to success. Success equals, number 1, not having obesity, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, or fatty liver. These are the big drivers of disease and disability and death, okay? Here's the formula. If you have truth, the information about your condition, which you're going to get here, if you have the right beliefs and not the false beliefs, the myths about you have to exercise, you have to have a gym membership, you have to take drugs, all these things, okay? If you get rid of these myths, if you've got a plan for you that's good for you that you can attack and do, but you're not going to get that plan if you have no control over your eating or what goes in your mouth. So you need the control. But guess what, friends? The control you need comes when you implement the plan. Remember, your body knows what to do. Finally, you need the spirit and the desire. I have the spirit, you can tell, right? I'm passionate. All of us here are passionate about this. We want you to get better. I want you to experience what I experienced. I wish somebody told me what I'm telling you 3 years ago, okay? I had to figure it out the hard way. And then once you have the truth, you dispel the myths, you've got a plan, you get control, you have the spirit and the desire to change. Now all you need to do is give it time. And once you're done this conference, you're going to click all these boxes and have what it takes. Remember, it's already inside of you. Your body's waiting for you to just give it the nutrition that it needs, low carb, high fat diet, and get out of the way to let it heal fasting. Thank you. Sorry, I took too long.
So that's one heck of a transformational story. And